Good morning. Welcome to the Senate Committee on Education. Today is Wednesday, April 19th, 10:45 a.m., and we are in hearing room 225. This meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed live on YouTube. You will find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislature's website. This Zoom meeting and YouTube live stream event will include this 10:45 a.m. agenda for the Committee on Education. I'd like to take this time to remind our testifiers that due to time restrictions on our hearings, we will be limiting testimony to 1 minute per testifier. For people participating remotely, please remain muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. When I call your name, unmute yourself and your time will begin. After your minute is completed, staff will mute you so that we can move this hearing along in an orderly and efficient manner. Members, we have one item on our agenda this morning. HCR 116, urging the Committee on Weights to recommend and the Board of Education to adopt a weighted student formula that gives greater consideration to small and remote schools. And to testify, we have Brian Hallett for superintendent, but I don't see him. Ken, please come forward.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Ken Kakiasako with the Department of Education. Everyone looking great in purple today. Sorry, we missed the memo. But just here to say that the department does stand on its testimony. We do appreciate the committee's willingness to bring this issue up. This is something that we are going to be discussing at the next Committee on Weights, as far as trying to give greater consideration to small and remote schools. So it is going to be a focus for us at this upcoming COW, which is going to be happening this summer. But we're here for any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next to testify, Laverne Moore, Hawai'i State Teachers Association.
Aloha, Chair, members of the committee. Laverne Moore speaking on behalf of OSA2, President of the Hawai'i State Teachers Association. HSTA strongly supports this resolution. We're sad the bill didn't pass. I served on the first COW committee way back in 2004, and I strongly advocated for special ed, EL students, and not hard to staff, but low-income students, because that was my experience. Teaching in Honolulu, those were our key issues. Had I known about the injustice that our small, desolated, geographic located schools, I would have advocated strongly for funding for them. This is really important. It's an equity issue, and we support this. Please support it also. Thank you.
Thank you, Laverne. Next to testify, Alexandra Obra, Principal, Waihole Elementary School, on Zoom.
I'm present on Zoom, Chair.
Did you say present or not present?
Not present.
Thank you.
Not hearing the not.
Yeah, I could just hear present, but not present. Is that correct?
Sorry, no, she's not present.
Okay, thank you. That concludes our list of testifiers. Is there anyone else here who wishes to testify on this matter? Not members' questions? I'm brokenhearted. Senator Kim.
Question, Ken. I realize that it's a juggling act, right? So in order to, and I certainly understand the concerns and our smaller schools and the schools that have more difficulty, but in doing so, what is it going to take? I mean, you're gonna have to take away from, right? I mean, the formula is
Yep.
gonna change, so somebody's gonna get less.
Right. The
Yes.
pie is only a
Take
one.
From Peter to pick Paul.
Correct, correct. You are correct. And so that's a discussion that the COW is going to have as to how to best cut the pie up so that it is addressing these other issues, but you're right, it will take away from other weights as well. One thing we are grateful for is I think in the Senate version of the budget that just passed, there is more money going into the weighted student formula, so that would increase the size of the pie. So even though by reallocating, it may take some resources away because the pie is bigger, we hope we can give enough resources to all who need.
Well, even then, I mean, this year we have money, so there'll be years where we don't have as much
Yes,
money. So the
yes.
pie gets bigger, but it comes from some place, right?
Correct.
And when that flow of monies go away, then, and to sustain whatever we decide, then it's got to come from someplace else.
Yeah, correct.
And I heard the testimony that, we have to look at the needs of different groups of students,
Yep.
right? To hopefully do the weighted student formula, but the more of these special groups, then again, the other pot gets smaller, and
Yep.
then we hear from parents of the larger schools and say, well, the class sizes are too big and so forth. Right?
Preaching to the choir, you're correct. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so while I really appreciate these kinds of resolutions, it's not as easy to just look at one portion of it and say, let's, put a weighted student formula because it affects everybody down the line. right?
Absolutely correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
And yes, this wasn't originally going to be heard, but at the request of a representative who serves an area that has small and remote schools, this is for her. But Ken, you mentioned that the Committee on Weights is meeting later this year. Do you
Yes.
have a timeline?
Yes, so they are looking, because there's teachers and principals also sit on that, we are shooting for the summer when school has let out. So after May, early June, there's going to be a few meetings there. I think in total, we're looking at 5 meetings at this point. 2 in June, 2 in July, and 1 in August, to kind of really get a.
And are they open to the public?
They are. So because it's mandated by statute, it is run by has to follow sunshine law. So the agendas will have to be published in advance of the meetings, and it is open to the public.
And will it include Zoom meetings?
Great question. So the last COW we did, it did have Zoom meetings because it was during the pandemic. I will go back and check. I think the idea is to continue that practice.
Okay, well, could you make a request of the committee
Can do.
to assure that everyone can participate?
Will do.
That, they put out a notice that gives everyone time to prepare, and also to allow by Zoom for those who cannot make it physically to the meeting. I would appreciate that.
Will do.
Could you tell us also, Ken?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that are decided by the Committee on Weights?
Yeah, so it's not just small and remote schools. There also is funding, as the previous testifier had mentioned, for English learners, and it's just the different weights that are looked at to see if they need to be recalibrated based on what the school's needs are and how best to address providing the right weights for students so that supports can be provided as equitably as possible. So there's a number. The recurring themes, though, are small and remote schools is one that comes up almost every COW that I've looked back on. It was discussed at the last COW, and I know it will be discussed at this one as well.
And another question would be in the meeting when they're looking at deciding on these weights,
Mhm.
how many members are on this committee and who are the members?
So
What makes up the membership?
Got it. It's a pretty sizable membership. I wanted to say it's about 15 or so different members. I can get that list is on our previous Committee on Weights agendas, but they do usually it's 2 complex area superintendents who serve as the chairs. And then after that, there are principals. I want to say there's teachers as well who also sit on that, and as well as community members. So I think in previous years, we've had like Julie Morikawa, who is part of Climb High, who is a business collaborative as well. So a number of different stakeholders who are invited to.
Including people from remote.
Definitely,
remote
yes,
schools.
definitely. Yes.
Can I
Go ahead.
So in the resolution, it has the word greater in be it resolved, to be resolved, that the board gives greater consideration to small and gives greater consideration. When you say greater, I'm trying to get a handle on that because then it means everybody else will get less. So,
Right.
so could we say give more an equal or I'm not sure, just that, then the special needs and the services will say, well, we need greater, and the bigger
Right.
schools will say, well, we need greater. So I guess I'm having difficulty with that. And perhaps maybe in the resolution that we say, have a whereas where, we want to balance the needs of the English learners, the special needs and the other groups that was brought up by HSTA. And that, how to, and balancing it all, taking into consideration, because, yeah, you have a class of, 6 kids, and then you have a bigger schools where they have a class of 30. It's like, one teacher, but then how do you balance that, right?
No. We would be open to that. That makes sense as far as pointing out that balance that is necessary. Yep.
Okay,
That makes
thank
sense.
you.
Senator Richards?
Thank you. I'm listening very carefully to the comments. Near and dear to my heart are the rural schools because Big Island, right?
Yep.
And I appreciate the difficulty in trying to strike that balance in larger schools, economy of scales. I think we've actually had this conversation before. And so I have to say, so your committee on weight, so cow, I kind of like that. That actually works
The
pretty good
rancher,
for me.
yeah.
That's right. But I can appreciate the fact that trying to find the balance in there is difficult, but I'm very interested in these conversations coming forth. And, appreciate what Chair has said about participating in that. Trying to find that sweet spot where we're talking about agreement of equal opportunity,
Mhm.
which, how do you scale that in a city versus a real rural?
Right.
And so that's what we're talking about and finding that sweet spot. So, and this highlights a conversation, but this may not be the way to get it done because it sounds like things are going forward. I am definitely supportive of the concept, but how we go about it maybe, and I want to participate in this. So Chair, I appreciate you asking about the Zoom potential, but on the Big Island, I think I would show up anyway. So I don't know how you weight that correctly.
Mhm.
I don't know how you weight that appropriately, but the conversation does need to be had. So thank you. I appreciate the comments. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And I think my last comment would be that even though we have small and remote schools,
Mhm.
and I think there will be some further discussion on the content, the language in this resolution.
Mhm.
But with the use of Zoom, can we not find a way to gather the small and remote schools to say, this school is going to have this teacher
Mm.
to teach this teacher to teach that? Could you guys share? So if someone wants to have this instead of this
Mhm.
at their school, that they could Zoom into this class. I mean, the high schools have done a great job with allowing some of their students to take, university type courses.
Yep.
So what I'm asking is the small and remote schools figure out a way to do that also through the means of Zooms, because I totally get small and remote schools. I mean, they even have a hard time getting to school because of bus issues, but I think if we were able to figure out a way how we provide that means to them, that might also serve them well.
Those are great comments.
Thank you. Members, further questions, comments?
comment.
Mhm.
We're gonna have teachers participating in this conversation as well, correct?
Yes, so I was just looking up. So at our last call, we did have registrar, principals, teachers, as well as from both middle, intermediate, and elementary as well. So yes, teachers
Okay.
in the past have been and will be again participating.
And I don't know if it's possible, but maybe even student leadership, get a student council president or representative, give a consumer's perspective, for lack of a better way to characterize it. Thank you, Chair.
And also, so for HSTA, if you could bring this to your membership to, let them know that should we be able to do this type of Zoom meetings for different classes, that they're aware of it, and it's up to them if they want to participate. But we strongly, this is for the students, so I'm hoping that they will want to do this also. Because I know for some of the teachers, they don't like Zooming. I mean, we had a lot of teachers retired during the pandemic because they thought they would have to do teaching by Zoom. And I guess this is the time to determine if teachers are going to want to participate and they need more skills at Zoom meetings, that HSTA find a way to help them do this. Thank you.
Other neighbor islands, it would be the broadband, being able to get online and have the hardware in order to do it. That's the key part.
Well, I believe all schools have the hardware. I think it's the teachers' hesitancy because they wouldn't know how to bring back a meeting should they get shut down. And this is where they should use their students, because when I have issues at home, it's my 11-year-old grandson that comes to my aid. And they know more than we do. So, yeah, I'm just saying that this is maybe a class they could start without the weighted student formula issue, that just to help the teachers. I think this would actually give the kids a kick and the teachers some. Yeah. Thank
Can
you.
I ask, can you restate the different areas you said that you fought for the weighted student formula? So we
Our
can-
first count had 100 participants.
No, I don't, I just want to know the different, because we got to go into.
Okay,
content.
yeah.
The different areas you said that you fought
It
for.
was special ed,
Okay, special ed.
English language
Okay,
learners,
got that.
and economically disadvantaged.
Okay,
Those are
thank
the
you.
three.
Okay.
Okay.
And she wished she had done small remote schools.
Me too. If I had known the issue, I would have fought for that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Members, further questions? If not, the chair is going to recommend that we pass this resolution out. However, we will do some changes to the wording of the resolution, and instead of the word greater, equal. That's one. Did you have another?
Yeah, I was thinking if we could do whereas, that the student weighted formula take into consideration as well, the English learners, the special ed, economically disadvantaged, and then possibly another, be it resolved to that the weighted student formula committee look at creative ways in which to have remote schools work together to find ways that they can share resources. Something like that.
Okay. So comments regarding that, members? Okay. If not, recommendation is to pass this reso with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Okay, chair votes aye on HCR 1160 with amendments. Vice chair votes aye. Senator Kanuha.
Aye.
Is in the back there. Senator Richards.
Aye.
Senator Favela. 5 ayes. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.